Welcome to day 3 highlights at Henley Royal Regatta. Today sees the start of racing in the Premier and Intermediate categories, including the brand new Bridge Challenge Plate. Yesterday, in one of the shock results of the regatta, the University of San Diego knocked out holders Oxford Brookes in the Prince Albert. Their reward, a matchup with Newcastle.
Here's one we've been looking forward to, the Prince Albert, Newcastle University against University of San Diego. Now this, I was on commentary duty yesterday morning for San Diego's win, officially by 2 feet. Incredible race, my race of the regatta so far. San Diego won't want to run it that close this time, but we've seen Newcastle University already in this regatta, and they look like a class act as well. The Prince Albert Challenge Cup here. Newcastle University, good performance from them. San Diego, well, if they turn this one round, it really will be miraculous. Incredible performance from them yesterday. They'll look back on Henley Royal Regatta very fondly after what they achieved yesterday. But Newcastle University, lots of experience in that boat. Edward Peacock, the Cox, back for his 6th Henley Royal Regatta. Benjamin Brockway in the stroke seat, same thing, 6th Henley Royal Regatta. And Newcastle University will progress through in the Prince Albert Challenge Cup. Very solid performance from them. Over the line comes San Diego, who can hold their heads high. They've had a brilliant regatta because they'll just play back that race yesterday.
So the fairy tale is over for San Diego. Newcastle looking strong there. There were 81 races scheduled for today, and Royal Chester against Thames in the Britannia gave the crowd plenty to cheer about. This
is the Britannia Challenge Cup, Royal Chester Rowing Club on the Berkshire Station. Off they go, up against Thames Rowing Club A. And trying to get as much pace in the boat as possible. Both boats look like they've done a good job of that. Perhaps Thames Rowing Club a little bit sharper. We'll wait and see as they come out of Temple Island.
Watching Thames, they look really smooth, really efficient. They don't look like they're wasting a lot of energy. I think they're probably going to be okay, but Royal Chester there again, finding another gear.
Yeah, you just saw the Cox, you can see there. Had a little glance to the left. It was quite a nervous glance, I suspect, to the left. But look how close this is. The umpire's saying to them, to Thames Rowing, you've got to get back onto your side of the water. And that's going to take pace out of their boat, and it'll ask a few more questions, and it might open a door for Royal Chester to launch a last counter-attack in front of stewards. Thames Rowing Club, despite the umpire waving the flag and sending them back onto their side of the water, will have enough. That was their moment, wasn't it, for Royal Chester? If they were going to do anything, it was going to be then, but well done to Thames Rowing Club, who regained their composure after that, and less than a length separating the 2 boats. Royal Chester, good effort from them. Thames Rowing Club through.
And we're at the start now in the Visitors Challenge Cup. In the Buck Station, the Ivy Club of Princeton, USA. And in the Buck Station, it's Rudolverein Munster and Marbacher Rudolverein von 1920 EV, Germany.
Yeah, this is intermediate coxless fours, but the pedigree in both these crews is very high. The Ivy Club Princeton bow won in the ladies' plate last year. And again, if you're joining us from Princeton, well done for getting up early, 6 in the morning or just past over there. So you haven't had to wait too long to get to this race. It looks like, as we see here, the Germans now have taken it into the lead, and we're coming through stewards' enclosures here, so we're probably looking at maximum 20 strokes left to go. It's going to be really interesting to see if Ivy Club Princeton can respond here. It could be a really close finish.
And they're coming down to the line. The Germans are sprinting. They're pushing through the Americans. Do they have a response? This race is going to come all the way down to the wire. The Americans trying to respond, but the Germans have the momentum. They're coming down to the finish line. It's a sprint to the line, and it will be the crew from Germany crossing the line with their green boat just ahead of the Americans. Wow, what a race that turned out to be.
Regatta works towards gender parity. This year sees the introduction of the first intermediate women's event, the Bridge Challenge Plate.
Half the world are women, so why shouldn't half of Henley Royal Regatta be women? That is just the way we want the regatta to go.
I want to represent a regatta that gives women a chance to come and race at what was one of my most enjoyable regattas.
Women's rowing is growing and Henley needs to reflect that.
The first year I was selected in the women's pair for New Zealand, there was no women's pair event.
We've included 6 new women's events since 2017. We've increased the size of some of those women's events. Adding an intermediate category event for the women was the most logical and sensible next step.
I think it just is going to keep so many females in the sport seeing that there is a place that they can continue to race on.
So the new event at Henley Royal Regatta this year is the Bridge Challenge Plate for women's 8s in the intermediary category.
This new event is giving a whole new cohort the chance to come and experience it.
My name is Mia Lawrence, Kat Robbins, Charlotte, Katie, Annabelle, and we are training for the bridge event at Henley Royal Regatta with Marlow Rowing Club. Right now we're just rigging up our boat and getting ready to get going.
We're in it to win it. Everyone's very excited to see where the boat could go.
I'm really excited to race in the bridge and just be against some top level competition. But just do the legs only and then that's what we're trying to get from it, if that makes sense. So do that and then paddle and then do it again a few more times.
Sitting nice and still to the front. Yep.
I just hope that every athlete who races in the Bridge Challenge Plate this year realises they're making history.
Having more women's events at this race will inspire more junior girls or adult women to take up rowing, knowing that they have a chance to go to this race.
There is a place that they can continue to race on rather than end up in this gap or no man's land.
So we're about 3 weeks away from Henley, trying to get the crew together and finalise where they're going to sit and how we're going to row, how we're going to race. For women to have more opportunity in more categories so that you don't have to race, all the international crews is huge. It's only going to keep them in the sport for longer, which is brilliant.
I also truly hope that those who are competing in the Bridge Challenge Plate this year, we will see again at future Olympics and World Championships. And how about this? The juniors who are competing at Henley this year are inspired by those in the bridge and they become future Olympians and World Rowing Champions.
Expanding the female categories at Henley Royal Regatta will definitely attract more women into the sport. I think it will give more recognition for rowing full stop.
When you finish club level, that's when a lot of people tend to drop out. So I think this event is really good to keep women in sport.
I think the level and the standard of rowing in this category is really impressive.
There's so much talent in this country at the moment in women's rowing. I think it's going to be a really competitive event. I know loads of girls competing in it. I would be nervous to compete in the bridge event.
We have been blessed with some amazing entries. We're going to have some fantastic racing at this year's Henley Royal Regatta.
Well, let's get straight to the starting line where the Marlow crew are up against local rivals Leander.
And we're incredibly excited about the introduction of the Bridge Challenge Plate. That is the intermediate women's 8 and the first intermediate women's event on the program here at Henley Royal Regatta. Marlow Rowing Club in the Berkshire Station on the left-hand side and Leander Club on the right-hand side of your screen in the Bucks Station.
Looks like Marlow. It looks like Marlow may have had something left in the bag there and they just seem to be inching away. That big effort. Leander did the right thing to try and get in terms early instead of waiting for the end. But it looks like it may just have cost them too much.
Yeah, they made a brave move through the middle section there. I thought they might be able to draw themselves level. They got awfully close, but look at this response from Marlow. The crowd urging them on as they're coming down towards the line. They will make history in the bridge.
First winning crew, record holders on the first day of the bridge. Great row from Marlow. Really, really well done to absorb the pressure and finish it off.
Confirmation, Marlow Rowing Club beating Leander Club in the new intermediate women's 8.
Well, you smashed the record as such.
Thank you very much. It was really exciting. Yeah, just really happy to be racing with these girls. Excited to see what we can do next.
Tell me a little bit about the crew. How have you come together?
Yeah, so we're all Marlow junior alumni. So most of us learnt to row at Marlow, and we've all gone off to our respective universities and come back for the summer racing with Marlow.
Well, and how did that then, how pleased were you when you heard about this new event and putting the team together?
Oh, it's such an honour to be part of the first group of women to be part of this event. I'm really excited to see in the coming years how this event will grow and the new opportunities it will have for women.
You must have been delighted with your race. You look pretty dominant against Leander.
Yeah, it was a really exciting race. It was definitely gripping. Like, we got the lead and then they pulled back and we were like, oh, what's going to happen next? But yeah, we stayed strong and carried through, and it means a lot to be like the first race at the bridge event, you know, for women.
So Marlow go down in history as the first winners of a bridge race, but who will be the names etched on this brand new trophy come Sunday? Meanwhile, one of the last races of the morning session featured a Tokyo Olympic champion in the Diamond Challenge Sculls.
And we're back up for the Diamond Sculls. It's the Premier Open single scull. You'd be a little bit nervous being Alex Wolff, great athlete, but drawing the Olympic champion from Tokyo 2020, Stefanos Notouskas from the Nautical Club of Ioannina, Greece.
Yeah, and he is an aggressive athlete, isn't he? The way he attacks every race, you just never, you know, he's never going to roll over. But here, to be fair, Alex Wolff leading the not defending Olympic champion, but previous Olympic champion in the single scull. But the test will be as they transition into the rhythm. My guess is that the Greek sculler isn't going to transition just yet.
We're going to see some amazing races across Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as some of these real titans of our sport go head-to-head in the premier events especially.
And all that work from Tuskus at the start is paying dividends. He now looks so composed, so within himself, really efficient. He'll be soaking up the atmosphere now, won't he?
Yeah, it's a lovely opportunity to row down past the stewards' enclosure, past the grandstand, hearing the crowd's applause. But in the Diamond Challenge Sculls, it is Stefanos Notouskas defeating Alex Wolff.
The end of the morning session marks the start of what's termed the luncheon interval, and the hospitality here rivals the quality of racing. It's what makes Henley Royal Regatta so magical. Cheers. Now, there are 27 different trophies up for grabs this week, but one main difference between the boats. Are you sweeping? Are you sculling? Which one's better and which one's harder? We decided to open a can of worms and ask Olympic sculling champion Emma Twigg for her opinion.
The difference between sweeping and sculling, basically 1 oar or 2 oars. Sweeping 1 oar, sculling 2 oars. Pretty simple, really. I'm a sculler, so I'm always going to tell you that you need a few more brains and a little bit more intelligence to be a sculler. So obviously when you've got 2 oars, you've got a little bit more to think about. You've got to balance out with each hand. So sculling probably requires a little bit more thinking. You've also got 2 blades that you're placing at the same time. Whereas in a sweep boat, you've just got your 1 oar, 1 placement. It's very much rotational and out towards the 1 rigger. So the single scull is definitely the tippiest of all of the boats, and it gets more stable as you go up through the boat classes. So you've got the extreme single scull to 8 in terms of balance, and most people would say that they've fallen out of a single scull. We probably haven't fallen out of an 8. Yeah, there's an art to sweep rowing, especially pairs and balancing out with your partner, but the principles are all pretty similar, but the balance is a really important thing, and that becomes quite a technical element of our sport. Sweeping, you'll have a steering foot in a pair or a coxswain steering the boat, because obviously you can't steer by pressure when you've only got 1 oar. In a sculling boat, you're steering off pressure on either side, so there won't be a steering or a fin in the boat that moves. You're just solely going off pressure either side. I'm a single sculler, so I'm going to say there's definitely more kudos in the sculling, but I think we've got some blue ribbon events in our sports, the 8s and the singles. But equally, you know, every boat class has its challenges and has its intricacies, and I think you'll see superstars of our sport across all boat classes. Definitely a single sculler at heart. I think people find it quite hard to row with me now because I've been in the single the whole time, but I'm really enjoying the challenge of hopping in a double scull this week, and I love hopping in a big boat as well when I get the opportunity. There's nothing like hopping in it, feeling the power of an 8 when you've got 8 people all doing the same thing. It becomes really obvious in the single scull when it's only you, you've got nowhere to hide. So it's only over to your performance, which is something that I really love about single sculling. But equally, it can be pretty tough and lonely out there when you're 500 metres to go and everything's hurting and it's just you that's got to get yourself to the finish line. So there's pros and cons to having someone with you to help you to the finish line, or being there and having to do it all yourself.
And Emma races in the evening session in the double sculls, but right now let's head to the starting line for some early afternoon action.
So we have a crew from Germany, Bonner and Erster on the left of your picture, and we have a powerful Dutch crew from Neerhuis and Oceanius from the Netherlands. They are on the right of your picture. These boats are just the 4 men. One of them is steering with their foot. So no cocks involved in this event, and that is William Stoop, who stroked the Brown 8 that won the Eastern Sprints last year. They couldn't quite repeat that in the IRAs, which was the Collegiate Championships, but fantastic experience with Brown, and you can see both crews level. Here come the Dutch. Here comes William Stoop with the charge. He made that charge in the Eastern Sprints when he stroked the Brown 8. They won that by 0.08 of a second. Will he do the same here? I'm looking out. There's not much distance left.
They are coming back. You're right. It is maybe only a third of a length now. They are really moving back, but they are coming right up to the progress board and past that. I think it's the Germans here, but the Dutch are not letting them get away with it.
It is Germany who will cross the finish line first, barring accidents. What a great race. The Dutch couldn't quite get up. My goodness me, actually, that was so close.
That was a cracking race. I think they're going to look back on that and think, we just let them get a bit too much in that first third of the race.
So in that heat of the Prince of Wales Challenge Cup, the crew from Germany beat the Netherlands. We have Durham University versus Cambridge University. Durham University's A crew. This is such a head-to-head match. It's brutal. You talk to Durham University, they think this 8's going to go all the way and win. You talk to Cambridge University, they say it's going to be a tough race, but I think we can win this event.
Cambridge seemed to take half a length there in not very long, and I have to say now it's going to be pretty hard, never say never, pretty hard for Durham to make a change of pace at this stage.
Yeah, that's Sean Hayes up in the bow, the former lightweight rower from Harvard. We have got about 20 strokes to go. Durham looking smooth, looking cool. You'd expect that, coached by Will Fletcher. This would be a big belly blow, I think, for the Durham programme. They thought this 8 could go all the way, but Bill Lucas's Cambridge stretch out now. And it is the light blues who come up to the finish line. This was a bit of a dogfight, but Cambridge had more fight in their dog than Durham just through the middle of the course, and that took them through to a great